love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening and welcome to round 5 of the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series. And we have the V8s on the NASCAR version of Indianapolis at the Brickyard this week. And we are up for 80 laps of excitement here tonight. Steve Hoppett in the commentary booth, and we've got Kobe Jordan pushing the buttons for Inside Lane Productions. And the series brought to you by Everything Simulated, Inside Lane Productions, and streamed through Quasi Esports. And we've taken a look at some of the guys out on track at the moment. And a couple of guys tagging the wall there. I think that might be a bit of a trouble spot tonight. Now, I'm in the booth on my own. I'm having quite a bit of difficulty tonight. I wasn't able to get anybody to fill in for me, so bear with me if you're out there watching. If the commentary gets a little bit how you're going, or I go quiet, just please bear with me, and we'll get through this 80 laps, and hopefully we'll go green so it's over pretty quickly. But yeah, we're looking at laps 80, fuel capacity 70%, tyres. We've got 3 sets. There's a starter set and 2 changes, and the track itself is 2.5 miles or 4 kilometres long. And we're looking at Wade Sheedy there at the moment. We're taking a look at the weather conditions. And it's, as I said, the stock car oval, so it's the NASCAR version, which makes a difference to the pit entry. Those who race Indy cars here will know that it's got a much longer entry into the pits. Obviously, we're in the city of Indianapolis in the USA. Air temp at the moment is 81 degrees Fahrenheit, which is getting up around about somewhere like 30 degrees, I think, Celsius. And the track temp, 114 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a hot one out there. The wind is southeast and around about moving around a bit, but somewhere like 4.5 to 5 mile per hour winds from the south. And we are mostly cloudy, so it's a little bit muggy out there, humid, and as I said, the temp up to about 114 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's a very hot one out there. That will affect not necessarily tyre wear, but tyre heat. As we see Brett Campbell and Wade Sheedy both actually tagged the wall, and this is just coming up to the end of our practice session or warm-up, and we're going to go into qualifying very shortly. The guys have 1 flying lap, and they've got 5 minutes to do it, and the clock is running. So we'll see what we can actually come up with as we take a look at the series points standings for the championship. Troy Davidson continues to lead the championship from Gary Wellman. Adam Malone in 3rd, Andy Barber 4th, James Nankervis sitting 5th in the championship. And then Craig Roffey, Tony Roffey in 7th, Tristan Koch up to 8th in the championship. Good luck to him. Troy Mortensen in the 83 car. We might get a chance to talk to him tonight if we can. Sitting 9th in the championship. Todd Maxfield is 10th. So that's your top 10 in the championship at the moment. After an exciting round last week, and we had a lot of green flag racing last week as we watch Aidan Schulz in his yet another livery. He seems to change every week like his underwear. And in the 52 car, that's Flash Graphics and GSRC. He's a very pleased and happy GSRC member. Does a lot of racing, road racing over there. And Aidan doing what he can out there. I think he's on his outlap. I don't know whether he's actually registering a time at the moment. But we'll see in just a minute whether that is a timed lap or an outlap. And we've got a lot of guys also out there. James Watson is heading out for his outlap. And a little bit tricky there on the exit for James. A couple of wheels on the grass over that white line. So might have gotten away with that. And he's off on his outlap. So we'll just waiting for some times to start coming in. We've got quite a few guys out there at the moment. I believe that is... that's Phil Butler. Sorry, he's changed his livery again. He's normally running the Cobra livery. And took me a second to realise who it was in the 067 car. But also running a GSRC livery with Sprayton. sponsorship on it there because they're a big sponsor over at the Gentleman's Sim Racing Club. Andy Barber in the number 20 car. And he's actually just laid down a number 53.3. But Troy Davidson is sitting at the top of the timesheets at the moment with a 53.128. And Andy Barber just a couple of tenths off that. Then Adam Malone very close to Andy. So the Southern Stars boys running very similar times. Tony Roffey, a 53.414 as we watch Peter Matson in the Orbic GSRC livery. And there's Craig Roffey going past our cameras there at the moment. Perry Anastakis, a 53.6. Kate Donnelly, 53.7. Tom Pritchard, great to have him back for his second round in the championship. Very unfortunate last week. And 53.7 for Tom at the moment. Phil Butler, 53.9, and Todd Maxfield rounds out the top 10 on the timesheets for qualifying with a 54.1. And Aidan Schulz, a 54.2. Remembering they get one flying lap. So we'll see how this actually works out. The Craig Roffey's gone to the top of the timesheets with a 53.009. Troy Davidson still holding down second, then Andy Barber, Adam Malone, Tony Roffey, Peter Matson, Perry Anastakis, James Watson up to a 53.6 in 8th position. Kate Donnelly, 53.7, and Tom Pritchard still sitting in 10th. Nobody's knocked him off yet. 53.7. A couple of people been pushed back there, as you can see. So we've got Gary Wellman out there at the moment in the 45 Simboys machine in that green Mustang. We'll see what Gary can do with this at the moment. But we're getting right down to it now, about 31 seconds left in the session. Doesn't appear to be any other changes in that top 10. So Gary's hoping to be the spoiler there at the moment. And we'll see what he can do with this. And I believe he's about to cross the line and get that time. No, it must have been his outlap. No, there he is, 53.7 for Gary Wellman. And so he pops into the top 10 in qualifying. And that's the session done and run. So we're going to take a look at the grid in just a moment as the boys start to grid up. We'll take a look at who we actually have there at the moment. And we're just going to quickly throw to an ad, and we'll be back in just a moment with the grid.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallinVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service interests and hobbies. FallinVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallinVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallinVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
And welcome back. We are gridding up for round 5 of the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series. And we're going to take a look at the grid right now. Row 1 and pole position to Craig Roffey with a 53.009 in that 030 car. And for Rogue Motorsport, Troy Davidson alongside him on the front row from Simboys. Second row is Andy Barber and Adam Malone. So there's a second row shutout for Southern Stars. Tony Roffey and Peter Matson on row 3. Row 4, Perry Anastakis and James Watson. Row 5 is Kay Donnelly and Gary Wellman. Row 6 will be Tom Pritchard and Phil Butler. Row 7, Todd Maxfield and Aidan Schulz. Row 8 will be Wade Sheedy and Tom Williams, getting ahead of the graphics there at the moment. That's all right. Row 9 is Andrew Hoffman and Troy Mortensen. Row 10, Jamie Nankervis and Shannon Wright. Row 11 is Noddy Tompkins, Matthew Bell, Brett Campbell, and Derek Jacobs up the tail end of the field, starting at the rear, and those guys did not actually qualify. And you did see my name in amongst it there, but I left that out. So we've got Craig Roffey and Troy Davidson on the front row, and sitting behind that safety truck, that pace truck. And keep in mind, everything's simulated, sponsoring the series, and it's brought to you and sponsored also by Inside Lane Productions, streaming through Quasi Esports on YouTube. And we take a look at a pretty healthy field out there at the moment. I believe that was 26 starters. So that's pretty good news for the series. And Craig Roffey will have control of this field in just a moment when the pace truck pulls off. As they come around up towards the final turn and onto the front straight. As you can see there, that's the long entry to the pitch that's normally used for the IndyCar layout, which is the same except for the entry, I believe. That's about the only real difference. And you can see there where the boys go in for the NASCAR layout. That's the one they'll be using tonight. And the pace truck is off. Craig Roffey controls the field to the line with Troy Davidson next to him. Who will get the jump? Who will get the best start? We're going to be looking at this front row, but we've got those two Southern Stars cars in behind them there. They want a piece of this, and the boys are gone, and that is Craig Roffey on the pedal with Troy Davidson just slipping a half a car length back, and Andy Barber from Southern Stars starting from the second row, and he's actually moved up to second place there at the moment, side by side with Troy Davidson, so they'll actually swap positions as Troy Davidson gives the wall a bit of a tap, and that's not the last time that'll happen tonight, I can tell you. There's going to be plenty of action at that corner. And Craig Roffey opens up a bit of a gap there from Troy Davidson, and he's actually got Andy Barber all over the back of him, and then Adam Malone and Tony Roffey. Great to see him up this far so early, and Peter Matson in behind him. So we've got Roffey, Davidson, Barber, Malone, Tony Roffey, Pete Matson, James Watson up to 8th, Gary Wellman in 10th. And our numbers are all over the place at the moment. Gary Wellman, then Kate Donnelly, then Tom Pritchard, as the overlay sorts itself out with these positions of swapping all over the place. And somebody else tags the wall there. A little bit of puff of smoke. Didn't appear to actually upset the car too much, and washed off a little bit of speed, but nothing to actually upset the field at all, as we see Todd Maxfield there. And he's going to want a good finish tonight, because he is actually towards the pointy end of the championship. So he's going to want some good points tonight. Craig Roffey on a mission. He has been for the last couple of rounds. He wants to get back up towards the top 3 there in the championship. And he's actually really hammering this tonight. He's putting a big gap there over Troy Davidson, who's opened up a big gap over Andy Barber and Adam Malone at the moment as they come round through turn 1 at the Brickyard. This is the 5th round of the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series, brought to you by Everything Simulated, Inside Lane Productions and Quasi Esports. As we take a look at the Southern Stars boys there, Andy Barber and Adam Malone in the green and white and black car, Andy in the red, white and black car, and they're chasing after Troy Davidson at the moment, who's trying to give Craig Roffey a hard time. But there's a bit of a gap there. There's a couple of car lengths between first and second. Then there's a much more noticeable gap from second to third. and then everybody else. So just watching this, the boys have gone pretty much single file there at the moment, with a couple of exceptions, as Peter Matson looks at making a move on Adam Malone as they come up the front straight, across that start-finish line and through turn one. Matson takes the position away from Adam Malone, and he's got Tony Roffey on the back of him looking at doing the same thing. And Matson sets off after Andy Barber in the number 20 car. Still got that big gap between second and third at the moment, so we're basically looking at Craig Roffey and Troy Davidson absolutely running at the front there at the moment on their own. Then a big gap back to third place, which is Andy Barber, who has Peter Matson all over the back of him. And then a car length or two back to the next spot, which is Adam Malone. We see Gary Wellman there up behind Malone as well. So Adam Malone absolutely being assaulted there at the moment. We take a look at Wade Sheedy and Matthew Beale, who's hoping for a clean one tonight. He's had some shocking luck the last few rounds. He's raced really well, but always just been in the wrong place, wrong time, and gotten involved in other people's business, so to speak. As Todd Maxfield is up behind Matthew Beale there at the moment as well. So plenty of action right through the field there at the moment as we take a look towards the front. And we've got Kay Donnelly coming into the picture now as he attempts to actually do something about running with his teammate Gary Wellman. They've got Peter Matson in front of him. There's James Watson running on the outside, going through that turn and manages to avoid the wall as Tom Pritchard is sitting there in front of him in the number 6 car. And Todd Maxfield, a big move there. I think he thought he was going to tag the wall and did a big swerve to avoid it as he comes down on the inside of, Adam Malone there. And Adam actually, absolutely being assaulted here at the moment. It's like he's got a bullseye on that thing, and every man and his dog wants to pass him. So that's what happens when you get to the pointy end of the championship, folks. People want a piece of you. It's like the old I'm better than you gunslinger days. And somebody always wants to make a name for himself by getting past the guys ahead of him in the championship. And that's exactly what we're seeing here at the moment. Adam Malone, who's sitting third in the championship, is absolutely being assaulted here at the moment. And whether he's actually just got an issue or is running to a set lap time, I don't know. But a lot of guys in the field here taking advantage of the fact they can get past him at the moment. So that's not going to be doing Adam any good, but it's a long race. We're only on lap 7 of 80 as they come through to click over onto lap 8. Or actually, no, that is the clicked over to lap 7, I believe, of 80. So it's going to be a long one, and they're running single file here at the moment. Indy is not the place where you want to be running 2x2, and certainly not row after row. A lot of single file racing here, unless you're trying to make a move, as somebody actually is trying to make one there at the moment. And we take a look at Wade Sheedy, who's running up on the inside, and he's actually got a couple of guys on his inside. He's on the outside. Matthew Beale is coming through there, and he's back in the livery with the huge gold reflective numbers on it. He obviously felt that people couldn't see him very well last week, and he's gone back to that livery. So we shouldn't have any trouble at all tonight seeing Matthew Beale in the field with those gold chrome numbers. And he's actually chasing, let's see, Matthew Beale is actually trying to see who that is he's chasing at the moment. I can't quite... Wade Sheedy's gone through. There's a car between Wade Sheedy and Matthew Beale, and I'm just trying to pick who that livery is. Go again. It's Andrew Hoffman, sorry. Yeah, he's changed his livery. Normally in the Super Cheap Auto livery, but Hoff's actually changed it this week. So we've got a few people out there in new liveries because they like to make my life difficult. And not to mention Kobe Jordan, who's trying to figure out who's where at the moment. And when he goes looking for cars, he's got to look for new liveries. So thanks, gentlemen. We appreciate the extra effort you went to for that. So some really good racing going on here at the moment. That's Phil Butler, I believe. Yep, the 067 car, Phil Butler, in that new Sprayton livery. Just one of the many new liveries in the field tonight. And he's in behind Matthew Boyle at the moment. Almost gives the wall a bit of a tag there. And he seems to be holding off a couple of the Everything Simulated boys. Three of those 4 cars are Everything Simulated. And they are a proud sponsor of the series, providing engraved plaques for the series podium 1, 2, 3 at the end of the championship. As Phil Butler manages to make that move on Matthew Boyle. So Matty drops back a spot there at the moment, and he's about to get swallowed up by the Everything Simulated team. Almost running nose to tail there at the moment with just 1 car in between them. As we take a look back towards the pointy end at the moment, and we got Adam Malone and Andy Barber holding off Todd Maxfield from the Sim Boys at the moment. So Southern Stars and the Sim Boys having a real battle, but ahead of them is Tony Roffey from the Road Motorsport team in number 85. That actually ahead of them is not Tony Roffey, he's just in behind them. That other yellow car is Pete Matson in the Orbic livery, Orbic GSRC car in that Commodore. So that fooled me there for a moment. I saw the yellow car, thought it was Tony Roffey in the 85, but it's not, it's Pete Matson. And he's having a pretty good run there at the moment. As we take a look at our top 10, and we're looking at Craig Roffey, Troy Davidson, they continue to run up the front. Gary Wellman's moved up to 3rd, then Cade Donnelly, Peter Matson, Andy Barber, Maxfield, Malone, Pritchard and Watson. So we'll just take those positions as stated on the screen, because these positions are fairly fluid, they keep moving around. But one thing for sure, Roffey and Davidson are definitely in command of this race. They've got a big lead over Gary Wellman. As I was about to mention his name, he tags the wall with his teammate from Sim Boys, Cade Donnelly, next to him. And Donnelly's going to make the move here as they come through to this next turn, because touching the wall there, Gary obviously has managed to wash off a little bit of speed, and that presented an opportunity for Cade Donnelly. And we got Peter Matson, who's hunting them down from behind. And then we've got Todd Maxfield, Andy Barber, Adam Malone, and Tom Pritchard, who's moved up through the field at the moment. So we've got the Southern Stars cars running almost nose to tail there at the moment. Just a car length in between each of them. Lap 12 of 80 in round 5 from the Brickyard at Indianapolis for the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series. And we are still under green after 12 laps. We're going to go to a quick ad break at the moment. Folks, stick around. There's some great stuff happening out there on track, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like Simrigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
And welcome back to round 5 of the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series. And, well, if we're still green and we're on lap 15 of 80 as we take a look at Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman running around the Sim Boys nose to tail. But there's a really big gap in front of them, and that gap ahead of that is Craig Roffey and Troy Davidson, who have had command of this race right from the green. And we are under caution. Just as I was about to say that we're still green, we're under caution on lap 15. So we're going to find out in a minute what might have caused that. But that's going to bring the field up together behind that pace truck. As Roffey continues to lead, he'll pick up the pace truck as he gets around through turn 1. We're taking a look at what actually happened here at the moment. And we got Todd Maxfield, who ran a little bit wide to the inside, and he's come back out in front of number 51 there. I'm not sure who that is. Oh, that's Hoffman, of course. Yes, the new livery keeps throwing me. So yeah, that's the Hoff there, and the Hoff's giving him a tag in the rear, and Todd's gotten out of control. You can see there where he's run to the left and then come out in front of him, and that little tag has put Todd into the wall. So Maxfield bringing out our first caution there as he gets a tag from the Hoff. Not a lot Andrew Hoffman could have done with that, to be perfectly honest. On the surface of things, from what I saw there, really not a lot he could have done with that. I mean, with Todd running inside there on the apron and then coming back out in front of him, it probably was more on Maxfield than it was on Hoffman. But the race review will actually sort that out. I don't need to worry about that right now. Just got to call the race. But that has brought out our first caution on lap 16 as Craig Roffey leads the field into the pits. And the boys will fill it up with fuel. Shouldn't be a tyre issue at the moment. So they'll just top up fuel while they've got the opportunity and take care of what they need to. I believe the entire field is pulling in at the moment. I'm not seeing anybody staying out on track. So the whole field has actually gone in, and they'll all top up the fuel. Probably not tyres at this stage. They've got 3 sets, but I doubt very much that they probably need them this early in the race. Lap 17, we are under caution, and it's the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series, streaming through Quasi Esports by Inside Lane Productions, and brought to you by Inside Lane Productions and Everything Simulated. We're going to go to a quick ad break while we're under caution. We'll come back and see what the boys can do with this pit stop.
No, sir.
Okay, mate. And g'day, we're welcome back. I'll put my tongue back in, put my teeth back in, and I'll be able to commentate. We have James Watson. While we're under caution, we'll have a quick word to James in the 39 car. Started 8th, currently sitting 10th. It says he's back 1 position, but from 8th to 10th. How are you seeing the race out there at the moment, James?
It was interesting. A lot of separation for the most part until the last few laps before the caution. For the most part, we're actually kind of able to pack back up outside of the top 2, which I found really interesting.
Right. Yeah, but obviously tyres aren't an issue, so all you did was top up fuel there, is that right?
Well, tires are definitely an issue. I don't know how many took tires if they did. we can't really take tires because of how little we have to use, and the fact that we still have to make it on a few more stops.
So what's it telling you the tyre wear is like at the moment?
Tire wear is awful, which is gonna make things really interesting. Because I don't know how long everyone's tires are gonna last, especially since we're gonna be going a little longer on the stint now, since we have more fuel to play with.
Right, okay. All right, well, obviously tyre wear is going to be an issue. Good luck for the rest of the race. The lights are out. We're going to go green, James. So I'll pop you back down to where you were and we'll go back to racing and let you concentrate on what you're doing.
Cheers, thanks guys.
Thanks, James. Okay, so you heard it from James Watson there. Tyre wear is actually a bit of an issue out there at the moment, although he didn't actually tell me what the wear is like and how much of it he's had. But we've got to take his word for it. He's the one in the car and he's the one seeing that the tyre wear is not great, but he didn't change tyres because they have 3 sets to get through the 80. So if he put a fresh set on now, he'd be looking at stretching the next set out probably a little bit further than he'd want to. But the lights are out in the pace car and we've got Troy Davidson and Craig Roffey have swapped positions. So Troy is going to lead the field away when the pace truck pulls off the course. And that second row is Kate Donnelly and Adam Malone. Andy Barber and Peter Matson are on that third row, and Wade Sheedy and Tom Pritchard in the fourth row. Then Gary Wellman in behind Tom Pritchard. So, the gentleman we just spoke to, James Watson, and he's actually sitting there in the back of the fourth row there, I believe, at the moment. So Troy Davidson in control of this as they come up to the line, and then he's going to go green, and he's going to get the foot down. We'll see what sort of start he can get. And he's moved straight across in front of Craig Roffey, and now he's across in front of his teammate, Cade Donnelly. And so you've got Davidson, Donnelly, Roffey, Malone, Barber and Matson, and that's your top 5 at the moment, or top 6 actually. And then Wade Sheedy in behind that, Tom Pritchard in behind him, and somebody's just making a move on the inside there. So this is going to be interesting. Craig Roffey sitting back in third at the moment. He won't be happy with that. He obviously got a poor start and wasn't able to go with Troy Davidson on that restart. Kate Donnelly got much better start than he did, and he's actually moved up to take that second spot. Peter Matson's got Wade Sheedy all over the back of him. And then we've got James Watson, it is, that has stolen a couple of spots there from Gary Wellman and Tom Pritchard. But Pritchard on the inside of Watson, and Pritchard trying to make the move to take that spot back. Wellman all over the back of Watson at the moment. And then we've got Tony Roffey, who's also wanting a piece of this pie, and he's actually moving in there behind Gary Wellman on the outside along that wall. Lap number 20 of 80. Then we've had our first caution when a couple of the boys came together, and just a simple little tag on the back and saw Todd Maxfield into the wall and brought out our first caution flag and our first caution period behind the pace car. And the boys have topped up the fuel, but as James Watson said, with the 3 sets of tyres over the 80 laps, and there is tyre wear, they don't want to actually go and start chewing through their tyres too early. I think they're wanting to have a set up their sleeve for that last 20 laps or so, but well, actually, sorry. They were 3 wide there for a moment, folks. And Aidan Schulz in the flash graphics moves down the outside. He's trying to make a move on, is that Tom Williams, I think? Whoa. They're coming together, and then, a little bit of payback. And Williams in the Everything Simulated number 22 car has actually come off second best. We've gone to caution again. And that's something that the race review committee is going to be wanting to have a look at, because I think there was a little bit too much push and shove in that one. And a couple of innocent bystanders have paid the price on that. As you can see, Aiden's come in contact. He's come over. He's given Williams another tag. Williams has decided to drive into him. Now, there's no way that was accidental. That had to be intentional. But then he's paid the price. And the poor guy who's come off second best in all that and really has just like collateral damage and absolutely nothing to do with him whatsoever. And that is Andrew Hoffman in the 51 car. And so, and looking at the big puff of smoke out the back of that everything simulated car, I'd say he's got an engine issue. But poor old Andrew Hoffman is the one that's actually really come off worst out of all that with these guys into each other. And I don't know what's going on in the iRacing voice chat at the moment, but I got a feeling that there's going to be some pretty stiff penalties handed out there because, yeah, I'm afraid that was, even just looking at it from my point of view, that was just nasty. And a couple of the boys having a bit of a disagreement on track, and poor old Andrew Hoffman has actually paid the price. What a shame. He was having a pretty reasonable run there too. So as they come into the pits on lap 22, Wade Sheedy looked like he's opted to stay out. And a few of the guys have actually managed to stay out. So that's an incident that will definitely be looked at post-race. And I'd say there's 2 or 3 guys are going to cop a penalty over that one. There's a bit of unsportsmanlike in amongst all that. And unfortunately, we can't really have that going on. Accidental's one thing, but yeah, there was definitely some push and shove in all that. And Andrew Hoffman's the one that's paid the price. That's probably his race over at the moment. I don't know who to bring up because the guy I was about to speak to was in the middle of all that, and I'd really rather not bring him up at the moment. And I don't know whether I want to bring Hoff up because he's going to be feeling pretty dejected at the moment with his race being ended that way. I'm going to actually bring up Craig Roffey, our race leader, effective race leader, but Wade Sheedy may actually want to have a bit of a chat to us. If you just hold on, I'll drag him up. We'll see how we go. And we've got to get him up there. Oh, goodness gracious. Come on. There we go. Sorry. Yeah, just having a bit of trouble with Discord here at the moment. Wade Sheedy, Steve Hoppett in the commentary box. You mind if I have a quick chat?
Oh, go for it, mate. How are you?
Not too bad, buddy. Look, you've taken advantage of the caution there and opted to stay out. What's the tyre wear like? James Watson was telling us on the last caution that there was a fair bit of tyre wear. How are you finding it?
I looked after it for the first part of the race, and I think the people that went harder a bit earlier on obviously wore them out a bit quicker, so mine still feel pretty good. I feel like I've got good pace at the moment.
So you obviously, since it's not that long since we had our last pit stop, so obviously fuel's not a problem at this point. You opted to stay out because your tyres are okay and you've got plenty of fuel on board?
Yeah, that's right, mate, yep.
Okay, well, look, that puts you in charge of the field on this restart. So far you've managed to have a pretty clean run and avoid the couple of incidents that we've had. So that's really good. Looking good for you out there in that red and white Commodore, mate.
Yeah, hopefully you can continue it on. You get a good run towards the end there with some clean tyres, so see how we go.
No worries at all. Well, we're on lap 24 of 80, Wade Sheedy, so good luck to you, and thanks for chatting with us. The lights are out in the pace truck, so we'll let you get on with it and concentrate, and I'll try and put you back where you were.
No worries, thank you very much.
All right, so there we go. He's talking to Wade Sheedy and managed to get him back into the same channel. But yeah, the real issue I had was that Discord didn't want to scroll for me, and there's a long way between where he was and where I am. So the lights are out on the pace truck. And as I said, we've got Wade Sheedy sitting there at the front, and he's got Perry Anastakis alongside him at the moment. In behind them, Aidan Schulz, one of the gentlemen that were involved in that little bit of biffo. And I believe that's Matthew Beale sitting up there in the second row on the outside. So we'll see what Matty can do with this. He'd be pretty happy to be there, but he's been there before and gotten caught up in other people's incidents, and it's unfortunate that he's had a bad run with that. So we'll see what happens here when the pace truck pulls off. Wade Sheedy will be in control of the field, and at the moment we're looking at Sheedy, Anastakis, Schulz, Beale, Craig Roffey, Malone, Donnelly, Barber, Davidson and Pritchard rounds out your top 10. And I can see Tony Roffey in the 85 car there at the moment as well. And Wade Sheedy controls the field as we come up towards the line, and he'll get the green flag in a second and he'll go pedal to the metal. And he does that right now. And he absolutely leaves them in his dust. Anastakis got a terrible start there. He just really got caught napping. Schulz actually got a better start than Anastakis, and they're side by side. And Aiden Schulz actually wanting to make a move here on the inside as they go through the turn. But Anastakis not really competing with Schulz there at the moment as we go through that turn. As we see the entire field file through, and Pete Matson has wound up at the back of the field in all that. Don't know how he's managed to do that. Maybe a dodgy pit stop, but we'll see how things go. Anastakis managed to move to the inside of Schulz now and did challenge him for a moment there, but Schulz has actually managed to hang on to that second spot. So Sheedy, Schulz and Anastakis is your top three. Craig Roffey, our pole sitter, and who has led most of this race, sitting in fourth. Then Kate Donnelly, Troy Davidson, our other front row starter, in sixth. Adam Malone, Gary Wellman, James Watson sitting there in ninth, and Andy Barber back to 10th. And we've got Anastakis and Schulz coming together. But they've managed to catch that. Bit of smoke and a little bit of excitement there for a moment. Somebody's heart rate just jumped through the roof. But they've managed to catch that. Aiden Schulz absolutely got his demon eyes on tonight. He's not taking anything from anybody out there at the moment, and he's not afraid to swap some paint with a few people, and that's not an issue as long as it doesn't go much further than that. We'll see what happens as the race progresses, and he can see Wade Sheedy, who's opened up a big lead, and Schulz actually begins to open up a bit of a lead over the next car in the queue, which is Troy Davison. As we see the second half of the field, there's a few people that are quite happy to be back here at the moment because they're seeing the biffo going on at the front. So we're not sure what's going on there. Front of the field, a lot of biffo, and a couple of the guys willing to swap paint to try and get the job done here tonight at Indianapolis in round 5 of the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series. Brought to you by Everything Simulated, Inside Lane Productions, and streamed through Quasi Esports. As we continue to watch what's going on here with Aiden Schulz, and he's got Troy Davison all over the back of him, and then Roffey in behind him. These two guys, Davison and Roffey, were the ones that actually had command of this race until not so long ago. They're going to want to be back at the front. They're not going to be happy where they are. Davison makes the move on Schulz. Roffey goes with him as they both actually move up, and Schulz drops a couple of spots there, and he's got Kate Donnelly also on his outside. He's inside, sorry. Then Donnelly decides to move in behind Schulz as they come through the turn there, and there's a lot of single racing again. Not a track you want to actually be 2x2 if you can help it. Mentioned that earlier on, and that's obviously what's happening on screen at the moment, folks. You can see it for yourself. The Wade Sheedy has skipped away at the moment. He's taken advantage of these guys battling one another and a lot of defensive driving going on, and all he's had to worry about is going hard or going home. And Roffey into second with Davison behind him. Kate Donnelly's gotten past Aiden Schulz, and behind Schulz, Perry Anastakis. And Schulz and Anastakis came together a couple of laps ago. A little bit of push and shove there, and they managed to catch that, sort it out, and everything's good with it again. Gary Wellman in behind them, and Adam Malone in behind Gary Wellman. Then James Watson and Andy Barber. So a lot of positional changes here tonight. The couple of caution periods have certainly mixed things up, especially that last one, as we see Tony Roffey coming up there in the back straight. There's a bit of a gap back from appears to be Tom Pritchard, I think, and then a bit of a gap back to Tony Roffey in the 85 car. But the top 10 continues to be Sheedy, Roffey, Davidson, Donnelly, Schulz, Anastakis, Wellman, Watson, Malone and Barber. And some more positional changes there as Wellman gets past Anastakis and James Watson has Adam Malone all over the back of him. So Anastakis has dropped a couple of spots there, and Aidan Schulz has managed to skip away. A little bit of a gap opening up there between 5th and 6th, which is Schulz and Wellman. But Wellman's closing that gap up slowly as Wade Sheedy continues to lead this, and he's got a fairly decent buffer over Craig Roffey and Troy Davidson. And as I said, they're the two that led the most of this and dominated the early parts of this race, and they're going to want to be back where they were earlier. They'd probably still be there if it wasn't for a couple of these cautions, and they're not too happy about being back in 2nd and 3rd. They want 1st and 2nd, and then Kay Donnelly is in behind Troy Davidson with Aidan Schulz in behind him. Then the gap of a few car lengths back to Gary Wellman with Perry Anastakis sitting in behind him. So not even seeing Wade Sheedy on screen at the moment because he's opened up a fairly decent lap. There he is up there, and he's got probably half the length of the straight. Nothing to worry about except for going hard and keeping it smooth for Wade Sheedy at the moment. And he's, as he said, looking after his tyres in that first half of the race, those early stages, so that he can actually push it a little bit harder as we come up to about third. We've just passed 3rd race distance, so Wade Sheedy in a pretty good spot at the moment. But Craig Roffey and Troy Davidson, Kate Donnelly, Aidan Schulz, Gary Wellman, then Perry Anastakis, Adam Malone, James Watson, Andy Barber and Tom Pritchard. And then there's a fairly big gap back to Tony Roffey and Peter Matson behind them there. We're going to go for a quick ad break at the moment. This is round 5 of the Oz Oval Series from the Brickyard in Indianapolis. We'll be back in a minute.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, Our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, everything simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
And welcome back to round 5 of the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series, brought to you by Inside Lane Productions, everything simulated and streamed through Quasi Esports. As we are at the Brickyard in Indianapolis, and there's been some fantastic racing tonight. The boys are keeping a fairly clean ride at the moment on lap 36 of 80. We've had 2 cautions, and we almost had a little bit of a coming together there, as you saw on your screen. Adam Malone made a big inside move on Aidan Schulz, and Aidan was about to move down there and spotted Adam on his inside and was able to correct and miss him. And we've got some fantastic stuff happening. Wayne Sheedy continues to lead this since the last caution period. He got a fantastic restart and opened up a big gap. And he's 1.4 seconds up the road from Craig Roffey and Troy Davidson at the moment. Then Cade Donnelly, Gary Wellman, Perry Anastakis, James Watson, Adam Malone, Aidan Schulz and Andy Barber. That rounds out your top 10 at the moment. Tom Pritchard's dropped back to 11th. And Jamie Nankervis from Everything Simulated sitting back there in 12th. As we start to work our way towards the halfway marker. This lap 37 of 80. And one of those caution periods was a simple bit of a tag that somebody gave somebody at the wrong time. And the other one, a bit of biffo between some of the drivers tonight. And there's sort of, you wanted to hit me, I'll hit you back. And that's something that's going to be looked at in the race review. So a little bit of controversy and drama there on track as a couple of these drivers are taking things a little bit literally, and as I said, a bit of biffo going on, but most of it's been pretty clean and some good solid racing. But as we approach the halfway mark of this one, as we can see, Craig Roffey, Troy Davidson and Cade Donnelly have closed the gap up to Wade Sheedy at the moment, and the lap times there are reflecting that. Wade Sheedy on a 54.7, Craig Roffey a 54.1. So Roffey definitely travelling faster than Wade Sheedy at the moment, and he's closing the gap, and he's taking Troy Davidson and Cade Donnelly with him on lap 38 of 80. Now they get very close to the wall there on the exit from that turn, and we've got the top 5 there opened up a bit of a few car lengths over the next batch of drivers, and that obviously is Anastakis, Malone, Watson, Barber and Schulz rounding out our top 10. Noddy Tompkins, who's having a bit of a quiet run tonight. I haven't seen him getting involved in anything tonight, and good to see him out there at the moment in car 119, that yellow and black SRM Commodore. So great to see Noddy out there. Seems to be having a good clean run. I'm not aware that he's been involved in anything. So hopefully he can progress through the field and get himself a decent finish. And Noddy's sitting in around about 13th or 14th at the moment. Lap 39 of 80 as the boys really coming up on Wade Sheedy now. That big lead that he had has dissipated pretty quickly as Craig Roffey comes right up on the back of him and starts to make a move. And Roffey will actually make a move down the inside and take the lead back from Sheedy, who then has Troy Davidson behind him, and then Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman. So he's got a bit of a Sim Boys onslaught as we take a bit of a look at the socials and say good day to a few people. Izzy and Nick Walsh in the socials there, both cheering on the Sim Boys. And that's obviously expected. Nick Walsh, I think, drives for the Sim Boys, but doesn't actually compete in this series. Why not, Nick? Get yourself in here. Let's go. And we just, pardon me, just taking a bit of a look that Craig Roffey's opened up a few car lengths on Sheedy at the moment. Sheedy might be suffering from tyres. He's had a bit of a big lead, but then all of a sudden has probably been doing some defensive driving. And tyre wear is obviously playing a part here at the moment, as Troy Davidson, Kate Donnelly and Gary Wellman will make the move through, as Sheedy seems to be suffering a little bit on outright speed, and he's just lost those 4 spots and moves back to 5th place. But then there's a fair old gap back to the next guy in line, pardon me, which looking at that is Perry Anastakis. No, it might be James Watson actually. We've got Adam Malone, James Watson, Anastakis, Barber and Pritchard up into the top 10. So we've got 3 of the Southern Stars boys there, as we see Adam Malone in front of James Watson, and then Perry Anastakis behind him, and Andy Barber, Tom Pritchard, and we see the Aidan Schulz just in front of our camera there a moment ago as we changed camera angles, at the front of James Watson's number 39 Mustang, as he continues to have a fairly clean run at the moment, being quite competitive tonight, James Watson, and good to see him having a really good run. He moves off to the inside there and tries to make a move on Adam Malone. Now, he can't quite get the job done, so drops in behind Adam in time for Adam to come in close on the inside line of that turn. James will wait for his opportunity to come, and he will actually get that move done when the chance presents itself. But Adam holding it at bay at the moment, and I think Adam's concentration at this point is on the back of Wade Sheedy's car as he tries to close that gap to Wade Sheedy sitting 5th after leading several laps after that last restart. And we see the gap opening up between 4th and 5th there at the moment between Wellman and Sheedy. So my guess is Sheedy's going to get swallowed up here on tyres. I'd say we're now mid-race, lap 42 out of 80, and the boys are probably going to be looking at getting some fresh rubber on as soon as the chance permits. But we are green, so we may start to see if everybody is actually starting to suffer from a bit of tyre wear that hasn't actually changed rubber yet. We may start to see some green flag pit stops very shortly, because to be honest, that is going to hurt Wade Sheedy very, very badly, and Wade will be aware of it. Just waiting for his opportunity. He's probably praying for a caution because it's better than going in under green. But we'll see how he goes. It looks like Adam Malone's all over him at the moment, making a move. So Sheedy dropping like a stone through the field at the moment, and the only thing I can think of is tyres, because he had a fair bit of pace on him after that last restart. James Watson now on the inside, and he's going to make a move on Sheedy as well. So Sheedy continues to drop back through the field, and no, Watson can't get it done, so drops in behind him, and Perry Anastakis decides coming up the front straight he wants to be on the inside, trying to make a move on James Watson at the moment. And he takes Andy Barber with him. So Andy Barber in behind Perry Anastakis at the moment. James Watson unable to get that move made on Wade Sheedy, but now they're up the back straight at the moment. James Watson still trying to get that move done. He's got Perry Anastakis right behind him. This is going to be very interesting. I don't want these boys to come together. This is going to make a mess if they do. And we see Andy Barber getting through. So Wade Sheedy drops back another 3 spots because James Watson, Perry Anastakis and Andy Barber have all made the move down his inside. And unfortunately, Wade obviously suffering from really bad tyre wear there at the moment. And he looked after him for the first big part of this race. You heard him say it yourself, if you were actually watching. And he looked after his tyres, which gave him the chance to push right from the front in the restart and get that big lead. But the tyres obviously going off at the moment. And Aidan Schulz there now has made the move on Wade Sheedy as Sheedy continues to drop back through the pack, and he's now dropped out of the top 10. So Aidan Schulz through on Wade Sheedy at the moment. He heads off after Tom Pritchard, who got through as well. So we see 3 of the Southern Stars boys into the top 10 at the moment. And the front of the field, we've got Craig Roffey leading 3 Sim Boys cars of Troy Davidson, Kate Donnelly and Gary Wellman. lap 45 of 80. And we must be getting close to some green flag pit stops by now. Fuel probably not the issue, but I'd say the tyre wear will be pushing these guys to actually consider when they need to pit for rubber. The guys at the front obviously having a fairly good run, so they've looked after their tyres a little bit more. I'd say what's hurt Wade was pushing at the front there to get that big lead, and he's obviously worn his tyres a bit more than he did in the first 20 or 30 laps of this race. So lap 46 of 80 in round 5 of the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series, brought to you by Everything Simulated, Inside Lane Productions, and streamed through Quasi Esports. As we continue to watch Craig Roffey lead this field and Troy Davidson. And that's the way it was for about the first 20, 30 laps, or 20 or so laps of this race. And now they're back at the front. Those are our pole sitter, followed by our other front row starter in Craig Roffey and Troy Davidson. Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman, teammates of Troy Davidson, and they're probably all going to, 3 of those, probably working together as they follow Craig Roffey, who's determined to hang on to that front spot. He's got 3 sim boys working together behind him, and it'll be interesting to see how long Craig can hold them at bay. With the 3 of those guys working together, you will probably, if one of them needs to come in, you'll probably see all 3 of the sim boys come in. If we obviously don't have Todd Maxfield out on track at this point, so obviously that first incident where he got tangled up with Andrew, who was it, Andrew Hoffman or Perry Anastakis, that gave him a tag into the wall. And Todd Maxfield's obviously parked it over the wall for the remainder of the session. As we take a look at James Watson in front of Adam Malone, and then Perry Anastakis in behind him. That is 5th, 6th and 7th. And that's the battle there with Andy Barber 8th, Aidan Schulz 9th and Tom Pritchard rounding out the top 10 at the moment. Taking a look further back in the field, we've got the 22 Everything Simulated car of Williams sitting back there in about 21st place. So he got tangled up in an incident earlier, and there he is in the pits at the moment. Obviously a lot of damage on that vehicle. As we continue to watch Craig Roffey leading the field. Lap 49 of 80. We're about to click over 50 laps here at the Brickyard in Indianapolis, with Craig Roffey leading from Troy Davidson, Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman, who's dropped a spot or 2 back from his teammates. Still sitting in 4th, but he's certainly dropped back a little bit, as we see Andy Barber getting a little bit out of shape there, avoiding the back of Perry Anastakis, and he makes a move on Perry, and Perry drops back a spot. So Andy Barber heading off after Adam Malone, his teammate, and Malone is trying to track down James Watson at the moment. And so Watson sitting in 5th place at the moment, with Malone 6th, Barber 7th, and we've got the cars in the pits at the moment. That's what I was waiting for. Green flag pit stops are happening. So we've got Anastakis, Schulz, Pritchard and Sheedy all into the pits on lap 50 of 80. So green flag pit stops are starting to happen. I knew it couldn't have been too far away, because there was definitely some guys there suffering from a lack of speed, which was obviously due to tyre wear. So they'll get some fresh rubber on, throw on some fuel. 30 laps to go. So this stop may even see them get through to the end. As we keep an eye on Perry Anastakis there. Let's just see who gets out first. And there's Todd Maxfield sitting in amongst there as well. So Pritchard, the number 6 car, actually gets the jump on Perry Anastakis, with Adam Malone now in the pits. Surprised he didn't actually pit with his teammates. I expected maybe that the team would have worked together to get in there. where Adam Malone would have come in with Andy Barber and Tom Pritchard, but Pritchard's come in and out fair way ahead of Adam Malone, actually. So we watch Craig Roffey. I'm expecting these guys to pit very shortly. Craig Roffey and the three Sim Boys cars, and we are under caution. Lap 51, we're actually under caution, and I believe it's Aidan Schulz has had an incident. We're just going to take a look at the moment. Aidan's leaving the pits there. We try and find what might have happened here. You see Tony Roffey actually head past as Aidan heads back out on track. And Aidan's pulled over. Not sure quite what has happened there. Aidan's pulled over and allowed Wade Sheedy to go past. He's going very, very slowly. That's not exactly what I would have expected to see from Aidan Schulz. I don't know whether he's having some sort of difficulty in that vehicle or not, but Aidan Schulz has rejoined very slowly. Dropped quite a few spots as we go back live. Don't know what brought that out. I don't know why that would have actually brought out a caution. Stopping on the exit road like that. It's not really the racing service, but iRacing has found something in it and brought out the caution. Not sure what's going on there with Aidan. Let's see if maybe I can find him. As we see the leaders actually come into the pits now under caution. So we've got Craig Roffey, Troy Davidson, Kate Donnelly, Gary Wellman, and quite a few of the other guys come in behind him now. I think that's Jamie Nankervis, James Watson by the look of it, as well as Andy Barber, all in the pits under caution. So we are going to go for a quick ad break while we're under caution. And I'll check on... we've got an incident in the pits. I think Andy Barber's actually hit James Watson as he's pulled into his pit bay and turned him. So that's a little bit unusual. Take another look at that. James Watson comes through there, turned... James has gotten loose and done something untoward there. The car's actually spun as he's pulled into his pit bay, so that's quite strange. Which actually means that Andy Barber didn't cause it. He's, that's very, very strange. So the race review committee will take a look at that and see whether maybe that was a netcode incident. But it looks like he's already out of shape when Andy Barber comes up behind him. And Andy really had nowhere to go as the boys actually rejoin. And Aidan Schulz has rejoined, but that was very, very unusual and not quite sure what might have caused that. Aidan Schulz, you mind if we have a quick chat while we're under caution, mate?
Yeah, 100%, mate.
Yeah, mate, look, what was going on there? You have some sort of difficulty with the car or on the exit from the pits there?
Didn't. Had my pit lane speed limiter there and pressed it too early. So then got a penalty, and that's the night over.
Oh,
seriously? So you've got a pit speed penalty now, obviously.
Yeah, I've disconnected now because it's been a long night, and so just exiting out of the pit lane there, I just pressed my button too early and got a penalty. So yeah.
Well, that's very unfortunate, Aidan Schulz. Not quite sure what to say to that, mate. So obviously you're a bit shattered by that, so I won't push the issue with you any further. I'll pop you back down where you were. and let you continue your conversation with your teammate that you were in the middle of talking to when I dragged you out of the room.
No, it's all right, mate. I'm happy to chat. Happy to chat. We're just here to have some fun, so all good. It's been a great night tonight, so it's been some good racing, and yeah, if you want to chat, let's chat. It's all good.
Well, in that case, then I'll ask you what happened with Perry Anastakis earlier.
Probably my lack of ability.
There was a little bit of biffo in between the two of you there. You came together, and then he seemed to actually turn into you intentionally.
I didn't see that. I actually apologised to him in the thing, thinking that I come down on him, and I said, "Sorry, Perry, I'll let you back past." So I don't know what you saw from your end, but
well, from the outside, he may have just been out of shape, and he had no choice but to give you a tap. But yeah, after you bumped him once or twice, and then he seemed to run into you. But the lights are out in the pace truck, mate, so I'll drop you back down to the channel, and we'll get back to the racing.
All right, legend. Have a good night.
Thanks, Aiden.
See ya.
Okay, so you heard it there. Obviously nothing in it. It obviously looked worse from the outside than it was between Aiden and Parry. And we are about to go back green again. We have Kate Donnelly leading the field with Craig Roffey at the front. Gary Wellman, looks like Andy Barber, and Troy Donnelly. And we go back to green on lap 54 of 80 at the Brickyard. Kate Donnelly's got control of the field. And he goes green and gets the nod from the flag marshal. Floors it, and Gary Wellman goes with him. Craig Roffey caught sleeping there. He's got caught out badly as the two Sim Boys cars make a big jump. And Craig Roffey's made it up now. And Wellman is away and leading this race with Kate Donnelly running rear gunner. Craig Roffey in behind him, and he's under assault from Troy Davidson, who's just given the wall a bit of a tap. And Andy Barber there as well, in behind Craig Roffey. So it's on for young and old here at the moment. These boys are starting to get a bit serious. We're in the closing stages, so to speak. 25 laps to go. And Gary Wellman leads this one from Kate Donnelly. And then we've got Craig Roffey, Troy Davison, Andy Barber in amongst all this. As well as Jamie Nankervis in the number 8 Everything Simulated car. And it looks like we've actually got Peter Matson has pulled into the pits now under green. Not really sure what might have happened there. But he's decided to pit now once we've gone green. He obviously, we didn't see whether he pitted or not under caution, but he's in the pits there now and doing what he has to do. So that's not going to do any good for him. The only thing I can think of is maybe he's given the wall a tap and he's got a bit of damage and saw no choice but to come in and pit. As we see Gary Wellman continue to lead this from Kate Donnelly, and Craig Roffey absolutely determined to avoid what happened last week with a Sim Boys 1, 2, 3, 4 at our last meeting at Charlotte. Where Craig Roffey came in 5th behind the 4 Sim Boys cars. But Roffey absolutely determined to make sure that doesn't happen again this week as Nick Walsh is moving house. So good day to you, and that is not something I actually want to go through. And Todd Maxfield is in the live chat. So good day, Todd. Sorry about what happened to you earlier, buddy. Not too happy about seeing you disappear out of this race, but taking a look at the front of the field, and Roffey is making big strides up to second there behind Kate Donnelly, getting past Gary Wellman, and we've got Donnelly, Roffey, Wellman, then Andy Barber, Troy Davison, then Andy Barber, and Jamie Nankervis. Pretty happy to be up inside the top 6 now at the moment. He's making his move with around about 22 laps to go in round 5 from the Brickyard of the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series. Obviously, saying the Brickyard means we're at Indianapolis as we see Peter Matson rejoin the series, the field on that inside as he keeps out of the way and lets everybody by. But that green flag pit stop, for whatever reason, has actually probably put him down a lap, which is a real shame because Matto was having a pretty decent run there for a while. He's stuck in front of Andy Barber there at the moment. Barber and Davidson battling for front positions, and Matson's done a good job of keeping out of the way there at the moment, but Andy Barber tried to make a move down the inside of Troy Davison, got stuck in behind Matto. And we take a look at the front now where Craig Roffey has actually taken the lead back. What a great move from Craig Roffey. But Kate Donnelly's had enough. He's not letting that go, and he wants that position back. So he's now on the inside of Craig Roffey, and they are side by side battling for the lead of this race. And Gary Wellman right in behind them in the Everything Simulated Inside Lane Productions Oz Oval V8 Supercar Series from Indianapolis, and you can see it for yourself. Kate Donnelly has taken the lead back from Craig Roffey, and Gary Wellman in behind him. And we've got Troy Davidson and Andy Barber. Jamie Nankervis still sitting in sixth there, and he's definitely making his move now as we get to the end stages of this race. And I think that's Phil Butler actually moving up behind Jamie Nankervis in that Sprayton Mustang for GSRC. So Phil Butler having a pretty good run. He's in a good position there at the moment. As we take a look at the top 10, and we got Roffey followed by, Roffey's just put his nose back in front. He's side by side with Donnelly. And then we've got Wellman, Davidson, Barber, Nankervis, Butler, Mortensen, Troy Mortensen, and Tom Pritchard battling for position there at the moment. So great to see Troy up so far in these late stages of the race. And Noddy Tompkins inside the top 10. So good to see Noddy having a good run there at the moment. He's had a fairly clean, quiet one, and making his move there at the moment is Noddy Tompkins in the 119 car. As we take a look at Roffey, he's still got his nose in front, but he's very close with Kate Donnelly at the moment, holding that inside line. Donnelly's not prepared to let him go, though. He wants that number one spot back. He wants to lead back as they are side by side, Craig Roffey and Kate Donnelly. And Gary Wellman just sitting a couple of car lengths back watching what's going on with this. Andy Barber sitting in behind Gary Wellman. And he's got, I think it's Tom Pritchard in behind him with Phil Butler. As we take a look at Roffey and Donnelly, still battling side by side for this one, with 20 laps to go at Indianapolis in round 5 of the Oz Oval Series. This is exciting stuff. We've got great racing happening here in the late stages of this race. Roffey manages to hold the lead, and Donnelly drops back in behind him in second. Wellman in third. Oh, goodness gracious, I could barely stop for a breath. We've got Troy Davidson and Andy Barber side by side now, as Andy Barber in the number 20 Southern Stars car decides to exert his influence over what's going on and put his hand up for a spot at the front, and he's hunting a podium as well, and side by side with Troy Davidson, and then drops back in behind Davidson. He can't get the move done, so Davidson manages to hold on to that spot in fourth at the moment, with Wellman in third. Davidson gets through under Wellman, so Davidson up through into third, Wellman fourth. So we've got Simboys 2, 3 and 4. Then we've got Southern Stars and Everything Simulated Racing with the Valve Esports guys. And wow, some exciting stuff here at the moment. Fantastic racing with 19 laps to go. And I need a breath, but I can't stop because we've got so much good racing here going at the moment. I don't want to go to an ad break. We're going to keep an eye on this at the moment because the boys are really giving it absolutely everything here at the moment. And it's going to be interesting to see, with all this battling going on, how the boys are going to look after their tyres, because we've already seen and heard that tyre wear is a problem, and it can be a problem, especially if you're pushing in this situation. And this scenario will bring about some heavy tyre wear, as we see Phil Butler going to the inside to try and make a move on Jamie Nankervis, and I think he gets the job done. Tom Pritchard goes through with him as well, so Nankervis loses a couple of spots on that one as Tom Pritchard goes through on the inside and gets the job done. No, they are side by side. Nankervis manages to hold off Tom Pritchard. as we take another look at Gary Wellman sitting back there in fourth with Andy Barber in fifth, Troy Davison third, Kate Donnelly second, and Craig Roffey continues to lead this one as we move back, and we've got Phil Butler, Jamie Nankervis, and that looks like Tom Pritchard. They're still battling for minor places there at the moment, just outside the top five. But we are going to go for an ad break. We'll be back in just a minute. Stick around. There's some fantastic stuff happening.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallinVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallinVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallinVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallinVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Welcome back to Indianapolis. We are at the Brickyard, obviously, and this is the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series Round 5, and brought to you by Everything Simulated, Inside Lane Productions, and streamed through Quasi Esports. We have 14 laps to go, and Craig Roffey continues to lead this one. From Cade Donnelly, Troy Davidson, Gary Wellman, Andy Barber, Jamie Nankervis still up in 6th place. He's holding out Tom Pritchard in 7th. And Phil Butler, Wade Sheedy is back into the top 10 there, sitting in 9th after that desperately needed pit stop for tyres. And Troy Mortensen still holding down the top 10, rounding out the top 10 there in the number 83 car, as we see Troy actually riding round the inside there, and he's got Adam Malone on his inside, with Peter Matson and a couple of the other guys. One of the Everything Simulated guy, I think it's Shannon Wright actually, and Shannon Wright, I believe, in the Everything Simulated car, sitting in behind Peter Matson and the boys there with Troy Mortensen. As we take a look back at the front of the field, and fantastic battle going on here. Jamie Nankervis still sitting in 6th place in behind Andy Barber and Gary Wellman, and the top 3 is still Craig Roffey, Cade Donnelly, and Troy Davidson. So you've got 3 Simboys cars there wanting to get as many of their teammates on the podium as possible. Craig Roffey is saying, not a chance, pal, and he's actually given it everything tonight. A man on a mission is Craig Roffey, as he continues to lead this one. And after the 1 to 4 placing for the Simboys last week, Roffey is on a one-man mission to make sure that doesn't happen again. So, and then we've got 2 of the Southern Stars guys in the mix for all this. Andy Barber sitting in there in 5th, and he's trying to make a move on Gary Wellman down the inside, but Gary shuts the door on that one. And Jamie Nankervis in behind, watching all this unfold, just waiting for an opportunity to maybe progress up through the field as we go with 12 laps to go here at Indianapolis. Craig Roffey has opened up a couple of car lengths over Cade Donnelly. who's got Troy Davidson and Gary Wellman right behind him. Andy Barber still trying to find a way past Gary Wellman as Jamie Nankervis sits and watches this, waits for something to happen and looking for an opportunity. But he's got Tom Pritchard bearing down on him. And Pritchard, the number 6 Southern Stars Mustang, is going to be all over the back of Jamie Nankervis any time now, and Phil Butler in behind him. But there's a few car lengths distance in between 6th, 7th and 8th. As we see Andy Barber moving down the inside. He's on the inside line, still wanting to try and find a way past Gary Wellman. It's not happening. Gary just seems to be able to hang on to that spot. But Andy keeps on trying, and if he finds the right spot, he will take that spot away from Gary Wellman. Wellman fighting him off very hard and just simply trying to hold that 4th spot in behind his teammates Troy Davidson and Kate Donnelly, who are absolutely desperate to catch up with Craig Roffey, leading about 2 to 3 car lengths from Donnelly in second. So Roffey on an absolute mission here at the moment, driving beautifully and holding out a less than a second lead, about 7/10 over Kate Donnelly. And then we've got Troy Davison, Gary Wellman, Andy Barber, Jamie Nankervis, Roy Pritchard, Phil Butler, Wade Sheedy and Adam Malone up into the 10, which has actually pushed Troy Mortensen back a spot. So we've got 3 Southern Stars cars in the top 10 at the moment. Oh, sorry, 2. No, 3. Sorry, Tom Pritchard and Adam Malone. That's right. And they're my mistake. And I forgot how to count there just for a minute. And Roffey's opened up a great lead over Kate Donnelly. Donnelly's actually under assault from his teammate Troy Davison, who started on the front row of this, and Davison moves up into second. Donnelly back to third, and now his other teammate Gary Wellman has said, well, I'm going to get a piece of this too. Teammates or not, they're battling for positions here at the moment. As Wellman managed to take the spot away from Donnelly, and Donnelly drops back to 4th, which is where he finished last week. We have 10 laps to go. As we take a look at Jamie Nankervis has gotten in past Andy Barber, and he's actually he's off after Kate Donnelly at this point. Jamie Nankervis up into the top 5 at the moment, with Andy Barber and Tom Pritchard working together behind him in 6th and 7th. Phil Butler sitting 8th at the moment. Wade Sheedy still holding down 9th position, and the other Southern Stars car, Adam Malone, who's, I believe, sitting 3rd in the championship at this point. He's holding down 10th spot and wanting some points to maintain his position at that top part of the championship standings. So it's going to be interesting to see what we can get done here in the last 9 laps from the Brickyard in Indianapolis. And if you've just joined us, this is round 5 with 8 laps to go of the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series from Indianapolis, brought to you by Everything Simulated, Inside Lane Productions, and streamed through Quasi Esports. And this is Steve Hoppett in the booth on the microphone with Kobe Jordan from Inside Lane Productions, producing and pushing some buttons and giving you these brilliant pictures. And some great racing going on here at the moment, but Craig Roffey has absolutely blasted away at the moment. I don't know whether he simply decided to, now's the time to actually push even harder. He's looked after his tyres maybe up to this point and feels that the tyres are up to being pushed a little bit harder to try and open up a bit of a gap. But we are about to click over to 7 laps to go as we see Roffey leading from Davidson, Wellman, Nankervis, Donnelly, Barber, Pritchard, Butler, Sheedy and Malone. He's your top 10. Looks like Andy Barber getting a little bit loose in the rear end there. Oh, as we see Jamie Nankervis out wide, and he's tagged the wall and he's out of control. He's managed to avoid everybody else, but that has absolutely done him. And he's just dropping like a rock now. Don't know how much damage he's copped out of that, but he's lost a couple of spots on track. That's an absolute shame. Nankervis was sitting in the top 5 and tagged the wall. I saw him tag the wall. I don't know whether he had contact with another car before that, but he's absolutely out of it now, and he's dropped right back. We'll just take a quick replay of that He's side by side with Kate Donnelly, and yes, they did touch, and Donnelly's actually quite, well, it's all fair in love and war as far as that's concerned, but that move's actually managed to push Nankervis out to the outside, and he had nowhere to go with Kate Donnelly on his inside, and Nankervis was really pushing hard to actually jump up a spot and take it away from Kate Donnelly. But that's something that the race review will take a look at, see whether there was anything more to it. It looked all fair in love and war and legal to me, but we'll see how that goes later on down the track. We're worried about the race. We're worried about what's happening in front of us at the moment as Craig Roffey continues to rock away. He's opening up a hell of a lead over Troy Davidson and Gary Wellman, who seem to be battling each other at the moment rather than working together. And then there's another decent gap back to Kate Donnelly, who just lost a bit of momentum when he came together with Jamie Nankervis, and he's actually under assault from Andy Barber and Tom Pritchard from Southern Stars, who want it in on this, and they're 5 laps to go, and we've got Barber and Pritchard chasing down Kate Donnelly, and I believe that's Wade Sheedy in behind him. He's up to 7th place now after leading a fair while after our second caution period, and 119 is Noddy Tompkins inside the top 10. Again, great to see Noddy up there. And if he keeps it clean, he'll actually pick up some really good points here with a top 10 finish. As we see Andy Barber make the move down the inside of Kate Donnelly, and he takes Tom Pritchard with him. So the Southern Stars cars really challenging the Sim Boys number 41 for the spot. And Wade Sheedy, he wants a piece of this. He's going down the outside. They go 3 wide. And 4 wide there just for a moment as Barber gets touched up and he's loose. So and he's into the wall and he's hit his teammate. And Tom Pritchard again gets a touch up from somebody, and he manages to catch that, but he's got Noddy Tompkins behind him, and Tompkins must have just about dirtied his bloody overalls on that one. I think he saw all that happening in front of him and thought he was gone, but he's managed to avoid getting involved in that. As Nankervis again, so he's challenging Tompkins for the minor placings of the just at the top of the top 10 there, and Tom Pritchard has dropped right back now after that little get together. He came together with his teammate Andy Barber and touched the wall, got out of shape, and Barber managed to hang on to it, but I think it was more to do with tapping the wall and then tapping his teammate, and helped him straighten the car up than anything else. Wade Sheedy up all over the back of Kate Donnelly now at the moment, as Donnelly continues to hold down 4th. With Roffey, Davidson and Wellman, your top 3 at the moment with 3 laps to go. Will we go green to the end? Will we get a caution? Will somebody absolutely nail this? As Sheedy is side by side with Donnelly, and he's pushing hard through there. Donnelly moves right out near the wall. Sheedy moves down the inside, and this is a great battle for the 4th position. Sheedy sitting in 5th, and he gets in front of Kate Donnelly, and he's got Adam Malone down the inside of Donnelly as well, and Adam Malone's going to try and make the move, and there we go. We got Adam Barber across in front of, I think that was Phil Butler, and Andy Barber into the wall, and no, we're not going to get to go green. We are going to have a GWC for the finish of this race yet again, as we see Phil Butler in 8th place. He's pushing hard. It looked like Andy was trying to move across to the outside. Whether he realised Phil Butler was there or not, I don't know. Race review will actually sort that out. And after such a strong run, that looks like that's put paid to it for Andy Barber. It depends how much damage he's copped out of that, but I'd say it's pretty heavy damage. As we take another look at it. Oh, no, Butler's actually tagged him. Butler's gone to make the move to the outside and actually tagged Andy Barber. Just giving him a tap underneath the right rear tail light. So Andy Barber won't be too impressed with that after such a strong run, and with only a couple of laps to go, and he's gotten a tag from Phil Butler. And Noddy Tompkins has come through there just before we've gone to caution. So he may have picked up yet another spot. Noddy Tompkins up to 7th. Managed to take that spot from Phil Butler, who backed right off after making contact with Andy Barber. And Tompkins took advantage of that and picked up another spot. So Noddy Tompkins up to 7th. What a race he's having. Barely even remembered he was in the race 20 laps ago, and now we've got Noddy Tompkins in 7th. As this bunches the field up, Craig Roffey will not be happy about that. He had a big lead over Troy Davison. Now he's going to be battling with Troy when we go back to green for the GWC. And this is where it gets dangerous, folks. The field is bunched up. The last couple of laps, we've got probably a lap of green and a lap of white with the field bunched up, and there's probably going to be a bit of push and shove. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. We're going to go for a quick break before we come back, as the boys, well, some stay out and some will pit. But we're going to go to an ad break. We'll be back in just a minute for the close of this one.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And welcome back to Indianapolis. We are at the Brickyard, obviously, in the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series, round 5. And we are on a GWC to the end after Phil Butler has managed to tag and spin Andy Barber into the wall. Just when it was looking like we were going to get a green finish, we go GWC. And Craig Roffey continues to lead this one. Not as well as he was before the caution came out. He had a big lead over Troy Davidson, but now the field's bunched up with the pace truck doing its thing. The lights are still on the pace truck, but we expect them to go out this time around. And Craig Roffey leads from Troy Davidson, Gary Wellman, Kate Donnelly, Adam Malone, Phil Butler, Noddy Tompkins. It looks like he's actually pitted and dropped back a couple of spots, and we're waiting for the standings to sort themselves out. But we've got all sorts of stuff happening here at the moment. Nope, it looks like Noddy Tompkins is sitting inside the top 10, but he's dropped back a spot with Perry Anastakis, and Troy Mortensen, it looks like, is inside the top 10. As they cross the line here, it should sort itself out a little bit more as we see the positions change. That's it. And the guys were in the right order, just not the right numbers next to their name and their positions. The lights are definitely out on the pace truck, so we will go green this time around. So we'll probably have a green lap and then a white lap as we go green, white checker for the finish yet again. So Craig Roffey will control the field from Troy Davidson. And so they will finish as they started almost 80 laps ago. This is how the front row looked. And then we've got Gary Wellman and Kate Donnelly on the second row for the restart. And it looks like Phil Butler, Adam Malone, Noddy Tompkins, Perry Anastakis and Troy Mortensen in the number 83 car, who we were trying to try and talk to this week, just didn't get an opportunity. But that pace truck will pull out of the way in just a moment. And we are going to have some absolute fireworks here at the moment, with Craig Roffey desperate to try and win this. He's been a man on a mission all night long, Craig Roffey, and he was absolutely flying until we went caution. So we'll see what he can do with this restart. If he can get a good start and hold off Troy Davidson, he should be able to win this. Gary Wellman's going to want to do something about it, as with Troy Davidson and Kate Donnelly. But we've also got Adam Malone in there as well, and Phil Butler. There's Noddy Tompkins and Perry Anastakis on the fourth row. And Tony Roffey is up there as well. And we go green, and Craig Roffey gets a pretty decent start and gets in ahead of Troy Davidson. Now he's going to want to move in tight here because Davidson's going to be on the inside. Then he's got Wellman and Donnelly with him, and then Adam Malone in behind them as we are green with 2 laps to go. And this time around we'll probably get the white flag as Roffey opens up 2 or 3 car lengths over Davidson. He's gotten a fantastic start on this. He wants this win. He's going to make it happen no matter what he has to do. And as we come around, we are probably going to go white on this lap as we come around through there. And I think, we've somebody off on the wall there at the moment. And that's Derek Jacobs, one of the Americans. And he's gotten out wide and tagged the wall. But if we go back to the front of the field, Craig Roffey, and he's going to cross the line, and he's going to actually get the white flag. So we are on the final lap, folks. There is no stopping from here. No matter what happens, we are going to finish this race now. It doesn't matter how many cars crash. Craig Roffey will lead this one from Troy Davidson and Gary Wellman in behind him. So there's your podium at this stage. And unless something untoward happens in the next mile and a half, that's your 1, 2, 3 right there. Adam Malone's going to sit 4th in this one. And rounding out the top 5, would you believe, Noddy Tompkins, who started at the rear of field, has worked his way forward, had a fantastic clean run, and sitting in 5th place at the moment. So good on you, Noddy Tompkins. Great to see him finishing in the top 5. And it doesn't look like he's going to have a problem from here as we go 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Checkered flag time for Noddy Tompkins in 5th, but Craig Roffey wins round 5 of the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series from the Brickyard at Indianapolis. So Craig Roffey from Troy Davidson, Gary Wellman, that's your podium, and then Adam Malone in 4th, and Noddy Tompkins rounding out the top 5. So he'll be absolutely stoked with that finish back in the 119 car. Fantastic stuff as we get the guys 1, 2, 3 across the front. Adam Malone sitting in there for the photo op as well. Fantastic racing from these guys tonight. Roffey was absolutely on a mission. And we'll get a chance to talk to him about that very, very shortly. But looks like he's actually going to just pit this. He's not going to... Is he going to do a burnout? We get to see the burnout from Craig Roffey. He's on the brakes. Here we go. Is he going to do the celebration? Certainly looks like he's setting up for it. And there he goes. Craig Roffey does the winner's burnout on the front straight at the Brickyard for round 5 in the 0-3-0. Congratulations to Craig Roffey. That is a fantastic finish and a fantastic drive. We're going to take an ad break. We'll be back in just a moment. Oh, sorry, we'll go through the results first. Craig Roffey in first, Troy Davidson second, Gary Wellman rounds out the podium. Then we've got Adam Malone in 4th, Noddy Tompkins 5th, Kate Donnelly drops back to 6th, Tom Pritchard in 7th after almost coming unstuck completely, Jamie Nankervis in 8th after that little whoopsie towards the end, Troy Mortensen 9th, and Shannon Wright is in 10th. So great to see the series sponsor inside the top 10. Phil Butler 11th, Derek Jacobs 12th, Tony Roffey 13th, Wade Sheedy back to 14th at the end there, Perry Anastakis 15th, Peter Matson 16th, Matthew Boyle 17th, Andy J. Barber, 18th. James Watson, 19th. Aidan Schulz, 20th and 33 laps down. These guys all did not finish. Tom Williams, 21st. Andrew Hoffman, 22nd. Todd Maxfield, 23rd, unfortunately. Brett Campbell, who came unstuck early, finishes 24th and 76 laps down, unfortunately. So that's your finishing order. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a minute with some post-race interviews.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like Simrigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Welcome back to round 5 of the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series, brought to you by Everything Simulated, Inside Lane Productions, and streamed through Quasi Esports at the Brickyard in Indianapolis. And we have had an absolute perler here tonight. Some fantastic racing out there. And third place tonight goes to Gary Wellman in the number 45 Simboys car. Started 10th, finished 3rd, up 7 positions. How do you see your night tonight, Gary?
Yeah, cheers, Steve. Yeah, no, not bad. I was happy to have a podium. I think, yeah, it's kind of just a bit of a different race tonight with tyre strategies tending to come into it. So yeah, just to definitely Craig was the quickest all night and the man to beat. And yeah, I know Troy's always quick on these tracks, so to come home in third, I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, it was actually something that never even that I hadn't even considered. Actually, was the tyre wear, because expecting tyre wear at the last 2 or 3 tracks and not getting it, and forgetting about the way Indy actually doesn't like rubber very much, until we spoke to James Watson during the first caution, and he said that it was a bit of an issue. So, so you sort of had to find that you were looking after them. It was going through them fairly quickly, or it was just a noticeable thing without it being too bad.
Yeah, you kind of had to look after them, and I think heat was probably the thing, and also when to change them as well, because there's obviously with the extra set, that extra bit of strategy comes into it. So, yeah, almost didn't change them on that second caution, because it would have been nice to have another set up your sleeve for the end. But yeah, it's just a bit of a gamble as to when to roll the dice with that.
Well, pre-race, and I went over the weather conditions, it was 114 degrees track temp, and I said then that I didn't know whether it was going to affect the wear rate on the tyres, but it certainly would affect the tyres themselves. And just such a hot track, 114 degrees Fahrenheit is something like 38, 40 degrees Celsius, I think.
Yeah,
so it was very hot out there.
Yeah, I think it's 52 degrees on. I'll just had a look now. I didn't actually check that all night, but yeah, that's probably
even 50. Yeah. But yeah, so very, very hot out there, so it was bound to have an impact. But obviously tyre was something you had to look at. How was the fuel burn rate tonight? Was that all right?
Yeah, that was pretty good. We thought Craig might have been under the pump a bit at the, coming up to the green-white checker at the end there, but yeah, he just got there. I don't think he got his full burnout in, but yeah, we thought that might have been the only hope we had of beating him tonight.
It was a short one, so that explains why. Look, you led 2 laps. As I said, you started 10th, you finished 3rd. You're sitting, I believe, 2nd in the series before this round. So, very good run from you, mate. A fairly good, clean race, and you've sort of kept your nose clean when other people didn't. So, 3rd place is going to be a good haul of points for the championship.
Yeah, actually, I think me and Troy might have been equal on top, but yeah, obviously you got back on me again tonight, but any time you can score a podium out in these sort of fields, good, so you'll take that for sure. And yeah, I think, like I say, even though we were working as a team, I still don't think we had much for Craig, so he was yeah, a bit of an animal on this track.
Okay, so now we deal with the elephant in the room, Daytona next week.
Yeah, no, we always we rock up and have a crack, and I think if we might even see another Simboy or 2 out there as well. So yeah, we don't mind our super speedways, that's for sure. So we'll be out there having a crack.
Well, we had Nick Walsh in the live chat tonight. It's just moved house apparently.
That's it. Yeah, a few life things get in the way for the boys here and there, but I don't know. Maybe he can rig his sim up and make a special appearance for Daytona.
Well, isn't that supposed to be the priority? You move into a new place, internet, and get your sim rig set up. Isn't that supposed to be the order of things?
Yeah, that's how she rolls, mate. Yeah, nothing else should take any priority over that.
There you go, Nick. Daytona next week. Nick Walsh, want to see you there. You know what you're supposed to do. You know what's important. Don't worry about doing the shopping. Don't worry. Let the other half worry about sorting the furniture out. Yeah, you know what your job is for this week. All right. Look, any shout-outs, mate?
Yeah, just the sim boys, mate. United Electrical and Hot Toddies as always for the team, and yeah, you guys for the broadcast again and this putting on the series, because yeah, it's nice to see we're getting a good consistent mid-20s type of field, and yeah, yeah, livens up the Sunday nights again, so that's good. Cheers.
Yeah, no, we've been getting good numbers, good viewer numbers and good participant numbers, and there's been some fantastic racing out there, which is probably why the viewer numbers are so good. So once again, congratulations, 3rd place overall on the podium there, Gary Wellman, and some good points for the championship. We'll see you next week at Daytona.
Cheers, mate, and yeah, good. Congrats Troy for 2nd, and obviously Craig for the win too. He's good running out there tonight.
And 2nd place tonight, Troy Davidson. You finished where you started.
Yeah, I would have liked to reverse the order with Craig. He started first and finished first, and me second. But no, look, as said, sort of happy to take a podium anytime. And tonight it was, yeah, Craig was sort of had the wood on us, I think. So yeah, happy with that.
Well, the two of you actually dominated that early stage of the race. I think it was about the first 20-something laps. The two of you just skipped away. It wasn't until we got that first caution that bunched the field up. Apart from that, you two were gone. It was just daylight back to third.
Yeah, I thought I was slightly losing touch with Craig. He was just slowly getting out on me, and I just changed my tactic a little bit with the brakes, and I was watching his brake lights actually, and I managed to get back on his draft and sort of sitting, he's just fuel saving a bit sitting behind him. But yeah, once the yellows come out, it sort of totally changed things up then.
And you led 3 laps in all that, and you're sitting at the top of the standings in the championship prior to this race. We'll see how it sort of turns out, but that's a good haul of points coming second while you're sitting in the top of the charts, mate.
Yeah, that's it. It's I think I was even with Gaz last week, so yeah, sort of always good to get a podium, and I mean, anytime you can finish in the top 5 in any league.
Well, checking the mail will see a couple of penalty points towards the guy who came third if you really want to separate things.
Yeah, that might help.
All right, any shout outs you want to give, mate?
Yeah, Sim boys like Gaz and Hot Toddy Heating Stalls and United Electrical, and then just you guys at the broadcast. Thanks to you, Steve. I think you're a bit unwell tonight, or injury or something. So the arthritis throughout the body is just making things a bit difficult for me, and the legs are playing up. But yeah, we got through it. No, good mate. No, thanks a lot for getting amongst it, mate. Anyway, appreciate it, and just everything simulated and inside lane productions. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Wish I could sit in the cockpit, mate, and be out there with you, especially next week. But it's just not going to be possible. I don't think. We'll see how it goes. I've got a car painted up for it, but whether I can sit in the cockpit's another matter.
You'll be there next week, Steve. Daytona's got your name all over it, mate.
I'll certainly be trying, mate. Certainly be trying. Okay, and congratulations. If anybody ever wants to see the wheels driven off a V8 supercar, Craig Roffey just about did that tonight. Fantastic drive, Craig Roffey. Congratulations. First place. You started from pole. You've led 55 laps tonight.
Yeah, cheers, boys. To be honest, I think you're putting a bit of mayo on it. But no, it was good to get a victory.
No, mate, it was. Honestly, if you watch this back, it was a fantastic drive. A lot of competition, and the boys kept you honest. I mean, Troy, Gary, Cade, the other boys kept you honest. Wade Sheedy led for a while there, but you were forced to actually run him down, and it took a while. But the simple fact of the matter is you drove very well tonight, and you're a man on a mission. I said it a few times, and there was absolutely no way you were going to let those sim boys get 1, 2, 3 and 4 again.
Yeah, that was my goal, just to get in between the sim boys. I've done this track a fair few times and just know the lines. And before we started, told the Rogue boys it was it's got to be a tyre race for sure.
Well,
and turned out to be a tyre race.
Well, it was a fantastic qualifying time too. I believe it was something like 50. Was it 53
flat?
53 flat, yeah. 0 something. Because I got a bit tongue-tied actually. I got 53.00 something, and then 030 on the car. I had way too many zeros.
Yeah, that was on edge. That was sliding the rear through the corner, only slightly lifting. So I knew I had to get up there and then get in front. And then once I got in front, I just got my gap, and then I just kept that gap.
So we've obviously already touched on the fact that you ran it pretty much dry and you crossed the line running on smell of an oily rag. But the tyres, how'd you go with the tyres? I mean, there was a fair bit of tyre wear. Gary talked about it. A couple of the others talked about it during caution periods when we interviewed them. Yep. How did you find the tyre wear tonight? Is that something you were mindful of?
Always mindful of it. I only changed tyres
hot out there.
It was very hot, yeah. I only changed tyres once, and that was lap 52. I changed tyres. So then, so I had a set up my sleeve if there was going to be a caution, say lap 70 or something. But then,
you wouldn't have been too happy about seeing that last caution come out of DWC because you had a fair old lead up You were just ripping up everything out there, and just about set the track on fire. And I was actually talking in the commentary about getting a green finish in no GWC, and all of a sudden somebody tagged somebody. So we ended up with the GWC again anyway. But look, fantastic stuff. You want to give any shout outs, mate?
Yeah, man, just the road boys. Afraid, Rick couldn't be here. Don't know why. I got to talk to him during the week. But yeah, he does all our paints and then setups and whatever. You guys in the booth for broadcasting, the Inside Lane Productions for putting it on. Anyone else behind the scenes that's involved in all the everything's simulated. Sorry. And everyone, all the races that come out, good numbers, which is good to see.
Yeah, we as I said before, when it was mentioned by either Gary or Troy, we're getting good viewer numbers and good race numbers. We're in the mid 20s, pretty much between 23 and 28 each round.
Yep. On
track, and the viewer numbers on the broadcast and the video afterwards for a couple of weeks go fairly high. Apparently, I've been told that it's a lot higher than a lot of others out there. That some of the American leagues and stuff like that, we're getting pretty good numbers. So good to see, and that's all on the viewers. And thanks to them for that as well. That's a shout out from me. But look, next week Daytona. Your thoughts?
Oh, I love my super speedways. I love the pack racing and getting runs and all that. I think Wellman was saying about getting a few sim boys in. So I think I might have to get the team together and get a few more road boys in to even it up. So, we'll put it to them.
Yeah, no worries. Look, Perry Anastakis did pretty well tonight too, mate, from your team. He had a pretty good race, and he ran at the front there for a while as well. Yep. Might not have led, but I'm pretty sure he was running second behind Wade Sheedy there for a while. Yeah,
for a little bit, and then I think his tyres or something started to go off.
And Tony, I think Tony finished inside the top 10 tonight too.
Nah, he ran out of fuel.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He ran out of fuel.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, look, fantastic stuff. Craig Roffey, congratulations from pole to a win, and led 55 laps. Can't really say much more than that. Fantastic performance. Great stuff. We look forward to seeing you next week at Daytona in round 6 of the championship.
Beautiful, boys. Cheers. I'll be there next week.
All right, so there we go. That's our podium and our interviews, and some fantastic racing tonight. I don't care who you are. If that didn't excite you, you're dead. You got no pulse, because that was some great racing there tonight. A couple of times we had somebody leading by a fair distance, but believe me, that was really, really worthwhile seeing. And great to see that Craig's managed to get that win under his belt, so he'll pick up some points there. That's going to make the top of the table look very, very interesting next week. So on behalf of Everything Simulated, Inside Lane Productions, good day to everybody in the socials, good day to Sarah Kay, who I believe was watching tonight, and thanks for being with us and helping us on our numbers and our journey along the way. So on behalf of myself, Inside Lane Productions, Everything Simulated, and Quasi Esports, this is Steve from Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing saying we'll see you next week at Daytona.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.